It's your girl, Professor Cinephile, and I have something might be shocking for those of you who have been following along. Um, I have a positive review of a Tyler Perry film. I know, I know, you're as shocked as I am, but listen, got to give credit when credit is due, right? That's what we do. When people do good things, we give them credit. I'm going to talk about the film 6888. It is the story of the all-black, all-woman battalion in World War II that worked to ensure that soldiers were able to receive mail and send mail home to their families. They played an amazing part of the entire thing. And sometimes we kind of overlook those things. And their story is that, they really helped boost the morale of soldiers, many of whom who had not heard from their family for several years, really helped the American spirit by making sure that families were able to get letters back from their loved ones. Spoiler alert, I will be talking about some things that happen in this film. Not too deep, but I just want to give one anyway. Just pause here if you don't want any parts of the film ruined. Now, this story is, one of, gosh, countless stories about, African Americans and their contributions to American history and our place in this, storyline of America. And I am here for it. I want to hear all the stories. I want us to have every opportunity to tell every story. I have to shout out my homegirl, Joshunda Sanders, who wrote a book called The Women of the Post. Okay. She wrote about this battalion. And it's so awesome because she's got a blurb on there by like Alice Walker and everything. And I'm very, very, very honored to know her. We went to middle school together. She interviewed me when my book came out. My most recent book came out. I really, really appreciate all the work that she does as a writer, as a scholar, as somebody who lifts up the voices and experiences of Black women. So please, please, please go check out her book, Women of the Post. It's 2025. I know a lot of you have reading lists. Go ahead and put that book on there. I've been telling anybody who'll listen, go read that book. So you have the book, right? But then you also have this film by Tyler Perry, which stars Kerry Washington. Of course, Oprah Winfrey's in there. Tyler has some of his usual, what I call his usual suspects, like Donna Briscoe and some others who will show up in his television shows and his films and things like that. He's also got people like Susan Sarandon, who is playing Eleanor Roosevelt. He's got Sam Waterston, who's playing Franklin Roosevelt. He's got, some pretty strong actors and actresses. Shanice Williams is in it, and I love Shanice. She was in The Wiz, the Wiz Live. You may know her from that. She does really well in this film. So, it's a pretty well-rounded cast, right? I'll be honest. I thought the entire time that Donna Briscoe was Jasmine Guy. I, I did. I'm sorry. And then I had to go like look at the credits and see like all the people that were involved. And I was like, oh, that is not Jasmine Guy. All right. This is also a breakout role, in my opinion, for Ebony Obsidian, which, by the way, is one of the blackest names you could possibly have. Ebony Obsidian, she was in his show Sisters, but she also had a role in If Beale Street Could Talk. She was actually really good in this film as well. I think this is definitely a breakout role for her. So, I can say a lot of positive things about this. So let's start with the positive things. Um, I think that the story itself kind of wrote itself. I think that Tyler Perry is one of those people that when he doesn't have to create the content, it's way better, right? When he doesn't have to come up with the story, he does a lot better. And we see evidence of that when he has other writers doing things and he's maybe just the director or the producer or something like that. But also when he has like material, like this is a true story, right? There's women who are alive today who were doing this, right? There's records, there's, oral histories and things like that. So, and then again, Sanders has this whole book about this battalion. So you kind of can't really mess it up, right? I don't think that Tyler Perry is the strongest when it comes to dialogue, but that, one of the things that he relies on sometimes is improvisation. I didn't get the sense of that too much in this film, except for some of the scenes. There's some smaller scenes with some of his actors and actresses that's kind of their style. I'm thinking particularly of scenes between Lynn Odoms and Donna Briscoe. Those are two regular actresses in his shows, and you could kind of tell there was a little improvisation there, but that wasn't dominant throughout the film, which is great because God, his stuff goes off the rails when he just tells people to just make things up. So there was writing, there was some structure, there's things like that. You have Kerry Washington, right? Who is a decent actress. I don't think that Kerry Washington is the greatest. I also don't think that she's the worst. I think she is a serviceable actress. She is a lip actress, right? She everything that she does comes through her mouth, and you know what I mean when I say that. When you think about it now, yes, Kerry Washington acts completely through her lips, and she was doing a lot of that there, a lot of that kind of thing that Carrie does. Yeah, so she was doing a lot of that. But she was strong in this role. I think that again, it's not really hard to it's not hard to mess this up. You're not gonna mess this up. Like just kind of go with what's there. I think there was decent chemistry between the cast, which was cool. I think that, kind of highlighting the fact that these women were from all over the place. Some of them were mixed race, mixed culture, just so many of them, right? And that they had this like kind of arduous task. But also, the reason why they were doing it is because they were facing racism, right? They're this whole battalion. They go through basic training. Carrie plays a captain. She is training these women to be in the military, and yet they're not being sent anywhere to do anything like valuable. They're ready for combat, they're ready for service, they're ready for all those things, but they're not sending them anywhere. And then so you finally get this assignment, which is to go and to sort through all of these trailers of mail, and we're talking millions of pieces of mail, right? They give them this task because they want them to fail at it, right? Several others had tried to figure out, how do we do this? How do we sort through this mail? They couldn't figure it out. So they sent the black women to go because they, again, glass cliff always happens when there's a problem, sinking ship, something damn near impossible. They send the black women in to see if they can fix it, expecting that they won't. And that is exactly what happened with these women. So, they go in and they are tasked with doing this. What they don't remember is what we'll call the black girl magic. We have intuition. We think outside the box. We have had to make do with so little. We've had to use our imaginations. We've had to be creative. And so these women are coming in and they're like, well, wait a minute. This smells like a perfume that I know. This perfume is only sold in Mississippi. Let me try to figure out, maybe this is coming from someone in Mississippi. Like they were doing things like that. Genius, right? We're talking like nothing short of masterful genius on the parts of these black women. They gave them 6 months to figure out and sort out this mail and get it into people's hands and things like that. They end up doing it in 3 months because that's what black women do, right? And so it's the whole film is pretty much a testament to it's basically that's what black women do, right? And I think it's really great that this story was able to be told, and I gotta say, it wasn't a bad film, y'all. Like, usually Tyler Perry can't make a film to save his damn life. But this was actually a decent film. Tyler Perry directed, right? Again, there was already source material. Um, Now, a couple of things that, I didn't necessarily care for. This is a story about Black women who were in this battalion, but the primary story of one of them, one of the characters' name is Lena, is that she falls in love with a white Jewish man who goes off to fight Hitler, right? And her inspiration to join the service is to kind of take up where he left off because he was killed in battle. And they kind of made this about this interracial love story thing. And I was just like, why, right? So that's where Tyler Perry gets stuck, right? He's trying to do historical fiction, but he's got to put something in there. It's got to be some kind of love dynamic, some kind of romance thing. This entire film could have been done without this story of this, young black woman willing to sacrifice and risk her own life to avenge her white male lover. And he wasn't even a lover. It was very much like, when I get back, maybe we can make something happen. So I had some issues with that. Um, the writing, could have used some improvement. It wasn't horrible, but we could have got a little bit better dialogue. I, I'm not mad at the fact that there are some like lesser known and novice actors and actresses. I think everybody deserves their shot. And for a film like this to be able to be one of the not necessarily background players, but like maybe a secondary character, you have your moments to shine. I'm not mad at that. I just think that because we know that Tyler Perry is cheap as hell and wants to pay minimum things, he will hire people who don't have a whole lot of acting experience. And so I just think that this film could have maybe benefit from a more all-star cast, if you will. It seems like the budget went to Kerry Washington, Susan Sarandon, and Oprah, right? Sometimes I think that Oprah volunteers for these things, but no, Oprah's definitely getting a check. Oh, Oprah played Mary McLeod Bethune. She had a little small role in it. So I think a film like this, with such an important story, probably could have had a more robust cast, right? Um, and I think that there was some issues with the pacing a little bit. There were times where it seemed like we were going like minute by minute, and then other times it seems like it was just kind of zooming through. That's another Tyler Perry thing. Again, when Tyler Perry's hands are on things, it's not going to be a perfect film. It's not going to be anywhere near a perfect film. But I will say, as somebody who has seen every single film that Tyler Perry has ever made, this definitely probably goes up in his top five films, right? So that's a plus, right? Yeah, you know what? I say go watch it. I say go watch it. I'm gonna give it 3.5 hearts. I'm gonna give it 3.5 hearts. I realized in my last review, I forgot to give my heart. See, this is what happens when new year, new me, don't know how to act. I'm gonna give it 3.5 hearts. I'm gonna give it 3.5 hearts because the three is definitely just because I'm very happy that this story was told, and it was told in a way that kind of makes sense when you're watching the film. The half is really for just shout out to these women, and then I think Carrie was decent. I think some of the other folks were decent. It's not a four, it's not a five. Again, it's still a Tyler Perry film. At the end of the day, it's still a Tyler Perry film. And I think the best that I could ever give Tyler Perry's probably would be 4 stars. So that's what we got. All right, I'm very interested what you thought. Leave your thoughts in the comments. And be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you all next time.